Hello, fellow denizens of the fog. I am the Hillbilly. Through the entity's grace, I have learned your language and been allowed this PSA on effective usage of all the tools on hand in trial on any given realm. My voice may not be what you expected, as the entity may only mimic what it knows. So, it has matched my voice with its favorite streamer, Rust and Salt, who it watches nightly at 8:30 p.m. EST. With the introduction out of the way, let's dive right into it. With these survivors granted temporary clemency, they've agreed to help with these lessons. The loops. Believed safe and effective at wasting a killer's time, loops are actually potentially the most lethal weapon a killer has available. The prolonged circular motion during chase causes the killer to move faster and faster until the G-forces involved are so powerful that the killer is slung out like a slingshot, fired across the map like a crazed cannonball of pure rage. To counter this onslaught, only keep a killer at one particular loop for less than 14 seconds. Onto windows. Also regarded as generally safe, jumping through windows is dangerous for all parties involved due to the decrepit nature of most of the structure of the realms. Infection is common, and medicine scarce here. Note how the killer goes through slow and carefully, as to avoid slips and falls, putting the medicinal needs of survivors ahead of their own. Just look at what happened to poor Sally, and she's our nurse. Take them slow. Never sprint near or through one. This way, you are one step closer to escaping a trial without another killer chasing you. Tetanus. Pallets. After bringing supplies in for humanitarian aid for poverty-stricken countries, killers are often tired and leave them around to be scrapped and turned into houses for the homeless later on. Dropping one is rude and disrespectful, and speaks to how little one cares for the less fortunate. Leave them be, and you too can be an everyday hero. Leave them be. Generators. Mechanical engineering is a passion for most killers, giving them the time to reflect and meditate on their purpose in this new life. Survivors need to understand the frustration it causes when one of these precious machinations is torn from them. Is it fair to take away the only joy from another creature? Is it fair to leave them with only one other outlet for their creativity? Because of that torture. Do you want torture? Because that's how you get tortured. Onto Shack. The Killer Shack is referred to as such not because it belongs to the killer, but because the building will literally kill you. Best avoided, it acts as a sort of Venus flytrap. Once someone enters, it causes unspeakable pain. I've witnessed it with my own eyes, and I wish that poor soul a quick death. The basement. The most defensible location a survivor could hope for. One entrance, 4 lockers and a chest, as well as the pillar of safety in the center. Patience is a virtue here, as killers don't fare well with all of the lockers, their creaky doors, the horrid light emanating from the walls, and the slick blood juice spilt upon the floor. Bros. If the basement is defense, bros are your offense. Gathered by remaining still, they will surround survivors 3 at a time, protecting you from harm and startling the killer with your command of nature. Observe as these crows easily deflect my chainsaw. She fell. She's fine. See? Books. They are sacred. to both the entity and killer alike. Feel free to crouch near one until a killer arrives to aid you in the worship of our spider god. These are safe places. A killer will not harm you near one, especially if you were aided in worship moments ago. However, the butt dance of prayer or the tea bag of spidery love will show us that you are prepared to see our Lord sooner than the others. Flashlights. The flashlight works best if you set it on the ground. It has an auto setting that will blind the killer repeatedly and randomly if left in a corner of the map. If you happen to have one on hand, the back of the killer's head is very sensitive to light and will disorient and demoralize the killer to the point of depression and assuring victory. Most importantly, the lower the battery is on the light, the more powerful the blind. Totems. Aha. Unfortunately, we are bound to run into a survivor that breaks our version of macaroni art that the spider god allows us to place on the proverbial refrigerator. Recklessly tearing at the twine and Elmer's glue, they shred our works. The entity has a gruesome surprise, however, in that certain totems have candles lit beneath them, causing a chemical reaction in the glue that will explode upon contact, blowing you to shreds in a thunderous boom. So, leave the damn totem alone. Lockers. A locker is akin to an impenetrable suit of armor. Leaping into one shows supreme confidence, which will send a killer into a state of confusion, as they were unprepared for a survivor to have such audacity. Unable to strike at you, we will typically leave you to your devices. We know a survivor, able to adapt that quickly, will simply not be worth the time it takes to cut through the solid iron door of a locker. Why the entity brought such a strong defensive measure into a realm of supposed horrific suffering, we will never know. With your newfound knowledge, survivors both young and old, veteran and freshman, have found new and innovative ways to make both your life and the killer's moderately more comfortable without stepping on each other's toes. Now that you understand the religious philanthropy of your killer's nature, you will see that there's really no need for ill will towards their actions. And when we see your respect for our culture, we may come to some sort of agreement in the future. Time will tell. I have enjoyed being your guide on this adventure, and hope to see you on the entity's favorite stream sometime soon.